In this lesson, we're going to talk about the metric system. The metric system is based on a base unit that corresponds to a certain kind of measurement. So for base units, we have length, where it's in meters, volume, that's in liters, mass, that's in grams. The prefix plus the base units make up the metric system. For example, the prefix kilo plus the base unit gram will give you a kilogram. Why do we use the metric system? Especially to describe smaller or bigger numbers. For example, let's say you live about 31 miles from the beach. So that's about 50,000 meters. 50,000 is a big number. So we add a prefix into the base unit to make it easier to manage. So instead of saying 50,000 meters, we say 50 kilometers. That's also easier to write down as well. The prefixes are based on power of 10. That means for every prefix, there's a step. That step is going to be 10 times larger or 10 times smaller from the base unit. So if we go to the right, starting from your base unit, let's say we go to deci, that's one step. The centi, that's another step. And to milli, that's another step. Each step, you're multiplying by 10 to represent that prefix. Now we start again from the base unit and now go to the left. We're dividing by 10 for each step. So for one step, it's to deca, another step to hecto, another one to kilo. So let's look at an example. Change meters to centimeters. So we're starting at meters at the base, and we want to go 1, 2 to centimeters. So each time I'm going to multiply by 10 from that base unit. So let's say I started with 1 meter. Multiply once to get the deci, by 10 once to get the decimeters. You get 10 decimeters. Multiply by 10 again, you get 100 centimeters. And don't forget for math, there also, you assume there's a decimal point there at the end when you don't see it. So at 1 meter, we'll assume that decimal place is right behind that 1. And for now, we'll just assume we need all those zeros when there's a decimal place. Let's look at another example. 50,322 meters to kilometers. So we're starting again at the base, and we're going to the left all the way to kilo. So that's 1 to 2 to 3 steps. So each time I'll divide by 10 when I do a step. So I start at 50,322 meters. To get it into deca, 5,032.2 decameters. Now to go to hecto, 503.22 hectometers. Now the kilo, the last step, 50.322 kilometers. You also may have noticed now, you can also move the decimal place by using this concept, the step concept. So again, we're going from centimeters to kilometers. Let's say we have 600,000 centimeters, and we want to go to kilometers. We're starting now from centi, and we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps. So again, we assume that decimal place is here, and we're going to go 5 spots to the left. Now we're at the 6 kilometers. And if you needed to leave that decimal spot in, which we'll learn about that more later when we talk about significant figures, it would be left right there. So again, you notice we just use this to move the decimal spot left and right. Or you can actually go in your calculator, multiply, divide by 10, but using the steps to move the decimal spot left and right is way easier. Let's look at another example. Kilometers to millimeters. I'm going to start with 4 kilometers. Kilos here, and we're going from kilo all the way to milli. So how many steps is that? There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps. So I'm basically just going to add on 6 zeros or move that decimal place that's imaginary right there, 6 spot to the right. And you just add on the zeros if there's no other number there. So let's look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now we're assuming that decimal spot that we assume that's always there is just right there. You can also see me break it down as well for each step. So as we start again with 4 kilometers, now we're going to the right. So you're multiplying by 10, basically adding a 0 on. So then we go to 4 hectometers. Then we're going to the right again, 400 decameters. To the right again, 4,000 meters. Now we're at our base unit. To the right again, 40,000 decimeters. Again to the right, 400,000 centimeters. And lastly, now we got 4 million millimeters. So these prefixes also have symbols. Again, why we're using symbols, just less to write down. So deca has DA for the symbol, hecto, H, kilo, K. These are lowercase for the H and the K and the DA. For deci, lowercase d, centi, lowercase c, milli, lowercase m. So let's look at an example. Kilometers to millimeters. We did this example before. Now, let's put the symbols in. So for kilometers, K, M, kilo was the symbol for K was the symbol for kilo, and then M was the symbol for meters. Now let's look at millimeters. The symbol for milli was M. And again, for meters is M. So you just put 2 lowercase m's together. Let's look at another example. We have 600,000 centimeters, and that goes to 6 kilometers. So for centimeters, centi is the lowercase c, meters is the m, so we put those together. Kilo, again, a lowercase k, and meters, again, a lowercase m. So we put those together for kilometers. So now we have the multiplier. So we use this with scientific notation. So we'll have our base, which is 10 to the 0, which is 1. And then we have our base unit still, the meter, liter, and gram. So if we go and take steps to the right, deci is 10 to the negative 1. Centi is 10 to the negative 2. Milli is 10 to the negative 3. Taking steps to the left, deca is 10 to the 1. Hecto is 10 to the 2nd. Kilo is 10 to the 3rd. So now let's put a number in scientific notation. Let's say we have 1 centimeter. We keep that whole number 1 or whatever that number would be. Let's say it was 1.22. You also keep that as well. And then you'll put times, then the multiplier in for centi. Centi is 10 to the negative 2. That's why I put that in. And then you'll keep the base unit, which was the meter. So 1 times 10 to the negative 2 meters is another way to write 1 centimeter. Now you can also do that for kilometers. Let's look at that example. So for km, K is for kilo. So I look at that multiplier is 10 to the third, so times 10 to the third, and then meters was my base unit. So I left the M as meter. Now, if you take a more advanced class like AP chemistry or general chemistry at college level somewhere, you're going to want to go ahead and memorize the rest of the prefixes in the metric system. So we got mega, giga, tera, and peta we added on. Notice their symbols are all uppercase for those. There's their multipliers. Again, their stuff is going to the left for each time. So each time we go left, we divide by 10. Now if we look at micro, nano, pico, and femto. Again, here's those symbols. Their multipliers. Again, those are now going to the right each time. And then remember, each time you go to the right, you're multiplying by 10. Now, if we go back to the symbol, you look at the micro symbol, that is mu. That's a Greek letter. So if you're also taking some advanced classes, you might also want to look at the Greek letter system as well. That's all I have for this lesson. Make sure to like and to subscribe.